All right, you can head to your next court
Thank you, Your Honor.
or take the rest of the morning off.
I'm moving on to the next one. I appreciate you.
All right, thank you. It has changed the way civil practice is done because the parties can do just what he did, log into 3 courts in the space of a short time as opposed to driving to that jurisdiction. All right, I've got Courtney Smith, who is the Village Manor defendant. That's set for 9:40. We're waiting for Mr. Levine to log in. Then we'll do Mr. Rognus's matter at 9:50, hopefully. Ms. Smith, can you hear me?
Yes.
All right, I have a nice view of the roof of the inside of your car. All right, there you go. Now, let me ask you a couple things. I'm going to ask you to put your cigarette down. We're in a court proceeding.
I apologize.
They didn't know. We're waiting for the attorney to be here. Ms. Smith, you're subject to a termination of tenancy. Your landlord wants you to move. They filed a notice of termination of tenancy for material non-compliance, including a whole bunch of lease violations, including having an unauthorized occupant in your apartment. Attorney Danny Horan is here now on behalf of the plaintiff. Mr. Horan, your manager Amber Campfield is here and your defendant Courtney Smith is here. While we're waiting, I went ahead and advised her of her rights in a landlord-tenant matter. And advised her this had been filed as a termination of tenancy for multiple material non-compliance of the lease.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Ms. Smith, as a defendant in a landlord-tenant termination of tenancy case, you have a right to have the matter adjourned for 1 week to seek possible legal assistance. That would take us to next Friday, March 18th.
Okay.
Now, just a minute, Ms. Smith. We need to talk about something else. You presently have an open warrant for your arrest, and you called the court in December and inquired about it. There's a warrant for your arrest for child abuse in the 4th degree and domestic violence. You're aware that that warrant is in existence. You were directed in December to turn yourself in, and you didn't. So my suggestion is that this weekend you make arrangements to turn yourself in at the jail, or I'm going to have somebody come to your house and arrest you.
I was never informed of this.
Well, it says that you called the court. Let's make sure I got the right Courtney Smith.
Yeah, because I've never.
It's you, same address, same date of birth. It says here the defendant called the court on December 16th and was inquiring about the warrant. Told defendant to turn herself in on Monday through Friday to get seen on the same day. Informed her of the process, she could retain an attorney. So if that wasn't you that called, I'm telling you now, there's an open warrant for your arrest for domestic violence and child abuse, which occurred allegedly in September of last year, 2021. Now, let me tell you what else is going on. This hearing that I've adjourned for 1 week, they're alleging multiple violations of your lease, noise, disturbances, unlawful tenant in there, a whole bunch of things are alleged that you're violating your lease. They want you to move. If they get what they ask for, you would be required to move within 10 days of March 18th. In the meantime, you need to take care of this warrant, or I'll have a place for you to stay here at the St. Joe County Jail. And I'm surprised they haven't arrested. They went to this is very frustrating for me. The police go to all the effort to get a warrant The person lives at the same house where they always lived. They got this warrant in October. They haven't bothered to go serve it. And so-
I've honestly not heard anything about this. Like, I don't have any idea what it's, like, I understand that you're saying it's for like abuse or whatever, but I don't understand what the heck.
Well, I'm going under the category of a reliable source. I just told you there's a warrant for your arrest. If you want to make it convenient, you can turn yourself in. If you want the police to come at 2 o'clock in the morning on Sunday and arrest
Well,
you.
no, like, I have to know what I need to do to go about, turning myself in or whatever.
You need to go to the sheriff's department and turn yourself in.
Okay.
All right. You'll be seen by a magistrate and a bond would be set. Anyway, this matter continues for 1 week to next Friday at 10:30 in the morning. Now, either you're not telling me the truth, you don't remember, or somebody called in impersonating and said they were you, but someone called our office in December and we told them the same thing I just told you, there was an open warrant. So that's really all I know about it. I can open it up and look into it, but I don't think you really want me to get into all that in the middle of a landlord-tenant proceeding live on a YouTube feed. So I've simply told you that there is an open warrant and it's in your best interest to deal with it sooner rather than later.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, I'll see you either way next Friday morning.
Okay.
Miss Smith, can you hear me?
Yes.
I owe you a huge apology and I want to give it to you here. I told you last week that there was a warrant for your arrest. Someone with the exact same name as you had an open warrant, but as the clerks pointed out to me, it was a different date of birth. So after I gave you a heart attack and told you there was an open warrant, the clerk confirmed that it was a different Courtney, same middle name, Smith. So there is no warrant. I'm sorry I scared you. It's another Courtney Smith, but not you. So I assume you figured that out after I gave you a stroke.
Yes, I did.
So as far as I know, there is no warrant for your arrest. And
none to my knowledge either.
all right, there is for another, I won't say her middle name, but same exact name as you. And the date of birth isn't that far off either, but it's a different person. So it's not you. All right, good morning, everyone. This is Judge Middleton. I'm here at the courthouse in Centerville. And we're returning to the matter of Village Manor versus Courtney Smith. Miss Smith is here, and I apologize to her, and I need to tell all of you, Ms. Canfield, you were here on the feed. Mr. Marks, you weren't. There is no warrant for Courtney Smith's arrest. It was a different Courtney, same middle name, Smith, with a different date of birth. So I gave her a heart attack, telling her she needed to come in here on that misdemeanor warrant, and there is no misdemeanor warrant for her arrest. There is for another Courtney Smith, but not this one. So this is simply a termination of tenancy action. Mr. Marks, we were here on March 11th. The plaintiff had filed this termination of tenancy action for a number of reasons: material non-compliance, failed to put utilities in their name, disturbing and harassing conduct,
was an unauthorized occupant.
Unauthorized occupant, spitting, other stuff. So, Ms. Smith, what's your position here?
I mean, I don't really know. I don't really wish to argue with anybody about it. I've actively been looking for a new place to live, and I found a place, and I can move in the 25th of next month.
Of April?
Yes.
All right. If they get what they asked for today, you would have until March 18th, excuse me, March 28th to move.
Okay.
I'm not sure whether your tenant would be, your landlord would enter in a consent if you move by April 25th. Mr. Marks, you have any position on that?
Well, this is the first time I was given the information that she's moving by the 25th. Do you mind if I go in a breakout room with my client for a couple minutes to discuss it?
No, that's
Privately?
exactly appropriate. I think I'll take up another matter while you guys are talking. All right, we're all back in Village Manor versus Smith. The defendant had proposed to vacate voluntarily by April 25th. The plaintiff and his manager were allowed to discuss that. Mr. Marks, what's the circumstance here?
Your Honor, we would not be interested in extending it beyond the March 28th date. We would be seeking judgment today. I don't see there any questions or tribal issue of fact in this manner. So I would request a judgment with a move out date or a writ date of March 28th.
All right, I don't have an order here.
I can send one, Your Honor.
I would ask that you do that. Our landlord tenant clerk is out today. I'm going to ask you, I'll have you send it to the criminal side and it'll get to me. So we'll use this one. 3 lowercase b crim, CRIM, at stjosephcountymi.org.
I'm sure I have that. Just 3B crim.
Yes.
Your Honor, are we entering this as a consent? I don't know if Ms. Smith
No,
consents.
I'm entering it as a
Hearing?
You're right, there's no issues. The notice to quit, she's a violation of the lease. And she has until March 28th to vacate or be subject to being evicted. Ms. Smith, they're not interested in your offer to move a month later. They would rather you move sooner than later.
Okay. Excuse me.
All right, March 28th. Now, you do have 10 days to appeal this, but when you do move, you need to turn in your keys and give your forwarding address in writing within 4 days of your moving. I'm going to send you this order. He's going to email it to me. I will sign it and we'll send it to you at Laura Drive address.
Okay.
But at this point, you have 10 days to move or you're subject to being evicted unless something else is negotiated. They're not asking for money damages here. They're simply asking you to move.
Mm-hmm.
So when you turn in your keys and give your forwarding address, that triggers the security deposit law. It's called the Landlord-Tenant Relationship Act and the law that governs security deposits. All right, this is a sad end to this, but if you can be out by the 28th of March, there won't be any further eviction. And if there is an eviction, Courtney, this does go on your record.
Right.
Might make it tough to get other placement. So if you
Yeah,
could
that's
move before then. All right,
trying to avoid that.
all right. I'm sorry.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you.